Today in the garden I am doing some work in our chicken and duck areas. So yesterday we got a trailer of woodchip mulch and we're going to put it on the ground in our chicken and duck area. I'm going to see how far it can go, but ideally I want to try and have a layer probably about that thick. And then the goal is to let the chickens scratch around in it, and eventually it's going to break down into really nice soil that we can use in the veggie garden. Okay, so I'm going to head in here and I'm going to start clearing it out before I start bringing the wood chip mulch in, and then after that I'm probably going to clean out these two ponds. So first things first, I do have some water buckets here, and I've got this little shell pond that is dirty that I need to empty out and take out of the cage. I might take out the feeders, things like that, get them out, just so I have clear space to put the mulch down. Probably about maybe 6 months ago we put some sand on the ground in the chicken and the duck area, and that's because whenever it rained or whenever we were cleaning out the water buckets, it would just become a real boggy mess with the dirt that was in there. I think I'll start with the wood chips just outside of the shelters, and then I'll see how much I've got left. If I've got enough, I'll probably put some in the shelters and then put some straw over the top of it. We thought to bring in some sand, and that would help to stop it from becoming big sloshy mud puddles whenever it rained. And it did work. It actually worked really well. The sand helped it to stop pooling up. But now it's been about 6 months, maybe longer, since we did that, and the sand now has just become dirt again. It doesn't look very nice, and it doesn't do that great of a job when it's raining and when we're cleaning out the waters. So it is starting to pool up again, and we didn't want to bring more sand in, otherwise in 6 months' time we're going to just have the same problem again. So we thought this time around to trial some wood chip mulch. The ducks are loving the new mulch so far. There are probably a lot of bugs hidden in the mulch. So far we've done about half of the duck enclosure, and I've already gone through a fair chunk of the mulch. The chicken enclosure next door is probably double the size of the duck enclosure, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do it as thick as I originally wanted. So for now, even if I get at least a decent layer throughout the pens, that will help to stop any puddles forming. We're supposed to get rain on the weekend again, and then later on down the track I can always bring some more mulch in and increase the depth of it. So as long as we can at least get a layer over the ground, that's the goal. We'll see how far we can get. After doing the duck pen, I know that I'm not going to have enough mulch to do inside the shelters, so I've got some bedding straw, so I'll put the bedding straw in the shelters like it was before, and then hopefully I've got enough mulch to do the chicken area. If not, I'll have to get some more next week. The breed of duck that we have are Muscovies, And they are probably the least messy breed of duck that we've had. We love the Muscovies. They're so friendly. They don't quack like a regular duck. They lay lovely big eggs, which are great for cooking, and they're just a really nice addition to have on the farm. All of our animal enclosures have automatic waterers, just like the one behind me. So they are just metal stainless steel bowls, and they have a float system inside, and it's just connected with a bit of poly pipe over to a tap. And cleaning out, especially the one that the ducks have access to, because what the ducks do, they put their bill in dirt or mud and find bugs, and they fill their bills with mud and dirt, and they need to rinse it out. So when they rinse their bills out, the water ends up becoming a big muddy mess. I don't need to disconnect it or anything. I'm just going to scoop the water out with a little cup here. I'm going to scrub it out with this brush because it does develop a bit of green film on the inside of the metal bowl. And then I'll rinse it out with the hose, and then I'll let it refill by itself. Just with my first cup full, let me tip out the water and show you what is left in the cup. Can you see all of that? That is mud. That is mud from the ducks. And it is filled in the bottom of this water bowl. So I'm going to have to scoop this out before I can scrub it out. Oh my goodness. So this is all mud from the ducks. So I'm going to have to get that out of there. Now the way that these waterers work is when the water drops down to a certain level, the float kicks in and it fills back up with water. But obviously I can't have that happening while I'm cleaning it out, so I'm going to just hold the float up while I give the bowl a clean out. In our animal enclosures, we also have these feed buckets here. So we have some in our chickens, our ducks and our rabbit pens, and they are just set at a different height depending on which animal is using them. So for the chickens we have them set on a taller bucket just so they don't have to bend down too much. They can just reach this hole where the feed is very easily. The ducks, I've got one behind me here and it's just set a little bit lower just so it's at a good height for the ducks. And the ones that we have in our rabbit pens, they're just set on the ground. Perfect height for the rabbits to get their head in there and get the feed. So basically all they are is just a 20-litre bucket. This is a food grade bucket. You can get them at any hardware store really. It's got a nice strong handle and it's got a lid. So you want to make sure that it's got a lid and that it is waterproof. So if you've got it in an area where rain can get to it, right now in this pen I've got just some shade cloth over the top of this section so rain can get to it. So we've got the lid clipped on so the feed inside is going to stay nice and dry. Now all we've done, we sourced these little feed holes just online somewhere. This was a couple of years ago now so I can't quite remember, but if you just look on eBay or possibly a pet and stock feed store, they may even sell them. And all it is it came with the drill piece to drill the hole in the bucket, and you just screw the little feed piece on. And so the animals pop their head in and they can have access to the feed in the bucket. They do also have little closures that you can put over the top at night time if you want to stop any rodents from getting in. We don't really do that. The buckets are raised up and we haven't had any issues with the mice getting into the bucket, so we haven't had to close them up. Now in these two feed buckets I just have layer pellets. In the rabbit one I have some rabbit pellets. We do give our chickens some wheat as well, but we don't give them dry wheat. We soak it in a bucket, so we will fill the bucket about halfway with wheat and then top it up to the rest of the bucket with water and let it soak for about 2 or 3 days, maybe a bit longer in cooler weather, and that's just going to start a fermenting process, which when the chickens and the ducks eat the wheat, that's going to be easier for them to digest and it's going to be better for their gut. Alrighty, well 2 of these cages are done. Next week I think I'm going to tackle the rabbit pens and I might put some wood chip mulch down in there. But today we've got the duck pen and the chicken pen completed, and I am so glad that it is done because we're due to get a fair bit of rain this winter, I think. So I'm really glad the wood chip is down to try and soak up a bit of the water and to stop it becoming from a big boggy mess in here. So it looks really good. I'm really excited and I hope the animals like it as well. I'd love to hear what kind of system you use in your animal pens. We're thinking of doing a deep mulch kind of system in the enclosed area, but I'm not totally sure yet. I might keep doing a little bit more research into it. So if that's what you use in your chicken pens, please write below. I'd love to know the pros and cons and any advice that you have. I hope that you did enjoy this video today and that it was helpful for you. If you did enjoy it, please make sure that you give it a like, share it around and subscribe, as that's going to help my channel out a lot. In the meantime, I hope you can get out into your gardens today or just outside with the animals because it's nice in the sunshine. I hope you can plant some seeds, plant some plants, grow some food and try and be a little bit more self-sufficient. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.